Text 16, 7.16. Chaturvidha bhajante mam jana shukrutinor artho jignashur artarti jnani jhat bharatar shaba. O best among the Bharatas, four kinds of pious men begin to render devotional service unto me: the distressed, the desirer of wealth, the inquisitive, and he who is searching for knowledge of absolute. Unlike the miscreants, there are adherents of the regulative principles of the scriptures, and they are called Sukurtina, or those who obey the rules and regulations of scriptures, the moral and social laws, and are more or less devoted to the Supreme Lord. Out of these, there are four classes of men: those who are sometimes distressed, those who are in need of money, those who are sometimes inquisitive, and those who are sometimes searching after knowledge of the absolute truth. These persons come to the Supreme Lord for devotional service under different conditions. There are not pure devotees because they have these are not pure devotees because they have some aspiration to fulfill in exchange for the devotional service. Pure devotional service is without aspiration and without desire for material profit. The Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu defines pure devotion thus: Anya Bilashita Shunyam Jnana Karmadi Anavrutam Anukulyena Krishnanu Shilanam Bhaktir Uttama. One should render transcendental loving service to the Supreme Lord Krishna favorably and without desire for material profit or gain through fruitive activities or philosophical speculation. That is called pure devotional service. When these four kinds of persons come to the Supreme Lord for the devotional service and are completely purified by the association of pure devotee, they also become pure devotees. As far as the miscreants are concerned, for them, devotional service is very difficult because their lives are selfish, irregular, and without spiritual goals. But even some of them, by chance, when they come in contact with the pure devotee, also become pure devotees. Those who are always busy with fruitive activities come to the Lord in material distress, and at that time associate with pure devotees and become, in their distress, devotees of the Lord. Those who are simply frustrated also come sometimes to associate with pure devotees and become inquisitive to know about God. Similarly, when the dry philosophers are frustrated in every field of knowledge, they sometimes want to learn of God, and they come to the Supreme Lord to render devotional service under transcendental knowledge of the impersonal person, Brahman, and the localized Paramatma, and come to the personal conception of Godhead by the grace of the Supreme Lord or his pure devotee. On the whole, when the distressed, the inquisitive, the seekers of knowledge, and those who are in need of money are free from all material desires, and when they fully understand that material domination has nothing to do with the spiritual improvement, they become pure devotees. As long as such purified stage is not attained, devotees in transcendental service to the Lord are tainted with the fruitive activities, the search for mundane knowledge, etc. So one has to transcend all this before one come to the stage of pure devotional service. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Esam gyani nityukta ek bhakti visarsyate priyo hi jnanino tartham sacha mam priyah. Of these, the one who is in full knowledge and who is always engaged in pure devotional service is the best. For I am very dear to him, and he is dear to me. Free from all contaminations of material desires, the distressed, the inquisitive, the penniless, and the seeker after supreme knowledge can all become pure devotees. But out of them, he who is in knowledge of the absolute truth and free from all material desires become a really pure devotee of the Lord. And of the four others, the devotee who is in full knowledge and is that is at the same time engaged in devotional service is the Lord says the best. By searching after knowledge, one realizes that his self is different from his material body, and when further advanced, he comes to the knowledge of impersonal Brahman and Paramatma. When one is fully purified, he realizes that his constitutional position is to the eternal servant of God. So, by association with pure devotees, the inquisitive, the distressed, the seeker after material amelioration, and the man of in knowledge all become themselves pure. But in the temporary preparatory stage, the man who is in full knowledge of the Supreme Lord and is at the same time executing devotional service is very dear to the Lord. He who is situated in pure knowledge of the transcendence of the Supreme Personality of God is so protected in devotional service that material contamination cannot touch him. Hare Krishna.
हरे कृष्ण। उदारा सर्व एवैते ज्ञानी तत्वात्मैव मे मातम आस्थित सही युक्त आत्मा मावे ना उत्तमाम गतिम। निसंदेह ये सब उदार चेता व्यक्ति हैं, किंतु जो मेरे ज्ञान को प्राप्त हैं उसे मैं अपने ही समान मानता हूँ। यह मेरी दिव्य सेवा में तत्पर रहकर मुझ सर्वोच्च उद्देश्य की निश्चित रूप से प्राप्त करता है। ऐसा नहीं है कि जो कम ज्ञानी भक्त है वे भगवान के प्रिय नहीं है। भगवान कहते हैं कि सभी उदार चेता हैं, क्योंकि चाहे जो भी भगवान के पास किसी भी उद्देश्य से आए वह महात्मा कहलाता है। जो भक्त भक्ति के बदले कुछ लाभ चाहते हैं उन्हें भगवान स्वीकार करते हैं, क्योंकि इससे स्नेह का विनिमय होता है। वे स्नेहवश भगवान से लाभ की याचना करते हैं और जब उन्हें वह प्राप्त हो जाता है तो वे इतने प्रसन्न होते हैं कि वे भी भगवत भक्ति करने लगते हैं। किंतु ज्ञानी भक्त भगवान को इसलिए प्रिय है कि उसका उद्देश्य प्रेम तथा भक्ति से परमेश्वर की सेवा करना होता है। ऐसे भक्त भगवान की सेवा किए बिना क्षण भर भी नहीं रह सकता। इसी प्रकार परमेश्वर अपने भक्त को बहुत चाहते हैं और उससे विलग नहीं हो पाते। श्रीमद् भागवत 9.4.68 में भगवान कहते हैं, साधवो हृदयम मह्यम साधूनाम हृदयम त्वहम मध्यन्ते न जानन्ति नाहम तेभ्यो मनागपि। भक्तगण सदैव मेरे हृदय में वास करते हैं और मैं भक्तों के हृदयों में वास करता हूँ। भक्त मेरे अतिरिक्त और कुछ नहीं जानता और मैं भी भक्त को कभी नहीं भूलता। मेरे तथा शुद्ध भक्तों के बीच घनिष्ठ संबंध रहता है। ज्ञानी शुद्ध भक्त कभी भी आध्यात्मिक संपर्क से दूर नहीं होते, अतः वे मुझे अत्यंत प्रिय हैं। हरे कृष्ण।
हो गया? कौन सा चल रहा है अभी?
हाँ 19
बहुनाम जन्मनामन्ते ज्ञानवानां प्रपद्यते वासुदेवः सर्वमिति सः महात्मा सुदुर्लभः। After many births and deaths, he who is actually in knowledge surrenders unto me, knowing me to be the cause of all causes and all that is. Such a great soul is very rare. But the living entity, while executing devotional service or transcendental rituals after many births, may actually become situated in transcendental pure knowledge that the Supreme Personality of Godhead is the ultimate goal of spiritual realization. In the beginning of spiritual realization, while one is trying to give up one's beginning of spiritual realization, while one is trying to give up one's attachment to materialism, there is some learning towards impersonalism. But when one is further advanced, he can understand that there are activities in the spiritual life and that these activities constitute active devotional service. Realizing this, he becomes attached to the Supreme Personality of Godhead and surrenders to him. At such a time, one can understand that Lord Sri Krishna mercy is everything, that he is the cause of all causes, and that this material manifestation is not independent from him. He realizes the material
World.
world to be a perverted reflection of spiritual variegatedness, and realizes that in everything there is a relationship with the Supreme Lord Krishna. Thus, he thinks of everything in relation to Vasudeva or Sri Krishna. Such a universal vision of Vasudeva precip-
Precipitates one's
precipitates one's full surrender to the Supreme Lord Sri Krishna. As the highest goal, such surrendered great souls are very rare. This verse is very nicely explained in the third chapter, verses 14 and 15 of the Svetara Upanishad. Sahasrashirasa Purushaha Sahasraksha Sahasrapad Sabhum Vishwato Vitva
Yatishtadasangulam
Tatishatdasangalam Purusha Evedamum Sarvam Yadbhutam Yachavavyam Udamritasye Sanaha Yadanye Nadirohati in the Chandogya Upanishad 5.1.15, it is said, Na ve vacho na chakshumshi na strotrani na manamsiti achakshate prana iti evakshate prano hyeva tam sarvani bhavanti. In the body of a living being, neither the power to speak, nor the power to see, nor the power to hear, nor the power to think is the prime factor. It is life which is the center of all activities. Similarly, Lord Vasudeva, or personality of Godhead, Lord Sri Krishna, is the prime entity in everything. In this body, there are parts of speaking, of seeing, of hearing, of mental activities, etc. But these are not important if not related to the Supreme Lord. And because Vasudeva is all pervading and everything is Vasudeva, the devotee surrenders in full knowledge. CF. Bhagavad Gita 7.17 and 11.40.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Full stop.
Hare Krishna. Yes, Guru.